Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to share with you all some of my favorite and top tips I've learned over my career as a makeup artist. And these are also some tips that I kind of got from your guys' questions in a lot of the comments in my videos. Don't think I'm ignoring them when I don't reply. I see them and I believe in you. So like, I take note basically. This video is going to be really great for you if you are a makeup artist yourself, or you're on your way to become a makeup artist, or you just like doing makeup on your friends and family and you just want to learn some little So just before we get into that today, if you don't know who I am, my name is Robert. I have an extremely shiny forehead. And it is my goal to help you become a pro yourself, or just someone who's really good at makeup. So if that sounds like something you are interested in, then please consider subscribing to my channel. Okay. Oh, and follow me on Instagram too. And I have Twitter. I don't know how to use it, but I have it. So one of my first tips comes from something I see a lot online, mainly on Instagram at these kind of makeup schools where you see people painting on contour and all that kind of thing. One of my biggest pet peeves in makeup is what people do with their spare hands. So a lot of people grab a head like this, which I absolutely despise. There also seems to be this trend in lifting the brow so you can get to the lid space and to try and make the makeup look better, I think. But that isn't really what you should be doing with any of your hands at all. So one of my biggest tips, especially if you're doing a bride or someone who's had their hair done or is getting their hair done, is keep that hand away from that person's head. Put it on your hip, hold other brushes in it, hold a drink in it. And that kind of brings me into my second tip. I know a lot of people do it because of balance reasons. Your little finger is one of the best tools you can use as a makeup artist. This should be your kind of rest, your pivot, your stretching finger, everything like that. So this finger may apply less pressure, but the little finger's better because it kind of, you can move your hand more like this. So when you're blending, for example, you can do it like this. When you're applying a lip color, you can pull the lip slightly down. If you're doing a lip liner, you want to get right in there. It allows for more movement. So even when you're doing like the waterlining, you want to gently just kind of get in the eye, obviously not with a brush, with a pencil. Your little finger is your balancing tool. Don't use the side of your hand like this. Don't hold their face like this. I've seen someone have someone by the neck like this doing this to them. It just helps to really stretch out and get into all those little spaces. So when people find it difficult to do eyeliner or lip liner, they're like, how do I get in there? Use your little finger on the same hand and get in there. Honestly, it will help your balance so much more. Talking about getting into spaces. And this can apply to anything from like applying lashes on that inside corner, tight lining that inside corner, and even just doing liner and eyeshadow in that inside corner of the eye right here. It can be quite difficult and fiddly in there, especially when you're blinking and, you know, moving your eye. When you're trying to get into this inside corner here, applying lashes or applying liner or even mascara, what you want to do is look down and then this way to get into a corner of this eye and then that way to get in the corner of this eye, because it stretches out that small little area of skin just in the inside corner. So let's say, for example, you're putting your lashes on. This corner of a lash keeps sticking up and poking up. What you want to do is look down, look that way, and then that lash has more room to stick on. When you're looking forward or looking down or like this, that skin is kind of stretchy at the moment. It's going to move around everywhere. If you tighten it by looking over this way, you're kind of like tightening that lid a little bit and giving yourself more room to work with. I've said this one before recently in a video. One of my favorite kind of tips with like makeup tools and makeup brushes is those nasty cheap eyeshadow applicators you got. They come in so handy for glitter and loose pigments. If you want a really impactful glitter, if you want your glitter to come out looking how it does in the palette or how it does like loose in the pot, use one of those disposable eyeshadow applicators. They are so dense and so heavy, and we know that the denser and thicker and tighter the brush, the more color application you're going to get, the more product is actually going to go on the lid, as opposed to something that's more fanned out and light. Something that dense is going to give you a really heavy compact glitter without ruining one of your hair brushes. And I hate glitter. I hate it getting everywhere. I hate like reflex, things like that. So to keep everything everything tidy, and you can just throw it away and you can order like another 200 for like $1 on Amazon, you know? One of my other tips, which is a really, really obvious, and a lot of you will probably know it, a lot of people find it hard to choose a transition shade for their eye makeup. Your transition shade is kind of what goes through the socket to kind of blend your color into the skin that's below your brow. So it looks like a fade rather than a solid color. The best transition shade you can use is whatever you are using to bronze your face. So whether that's a bronzer, your contour shade, something like that, you kind of want to match it. That way you get this kind of like seamless application. That's another great tip as well if you want really natural makeup. What I do on camera, and it's probably not even noticeable, is I'm wearing a little bit of bronzer. That bronzer is also under my eyes, and it's also through my socket and on the outside corner of my eyes, because it's what gives your face a little bit more definition. It's not really contouring, it's just kind of sculpting slightly. That sounded like I farted, it wasn't. I was rubbing my rings on the chair. I don't fart, just so you know. So using your bronzer, rather than trying to find like the right shade of beige in an eyeshadow palette, is probably your best bet. So let's talk about fallout under the eyes. I personally like to do eyeshadow first because of that reason, because of fallout, but I also like to correct the shape of an eyeshadow with concealer and foundation. And I think that's a habit I've got from being a makeup artist, is timings and having to be quick and having a limited amount of time to do makeup. I don't have time to be correcting fallout under the eyes. And sometimes when you're using things like a loose pigment, or you're using pressed pigment even, you get a lot of fallout. The best way to deal with this for me is prepping the skin first, including primer, then doing the eyeshadow. If you get any fallout, leave it till right at the end. Grab a little bit of a primer you use on your skin, on a cotton pad, and then wipe away that excess eyeshadow. You're not wiping away your skincare that way. You don't have to use a wipe in your skin because I hate those. And you're just adding a little bit more primer. That's all you're doing. My last little tip that you guys can put into action with your skin, and I find this kind of comes in handy when people get patchy areas of skin. So some people find that they might be drier here or dehydrated there. Same with the forehead, and oily in some areas. I find I'm exactly the same. I'm oily on my nose and my forehead, and then dehydrated around the corners of my nose here, and also on my cheeks. Skincare kind of has to be done in a different way before your makeup. It doesn't have to, but I find that when you're doing your skincare in the morning and the evening, you're kind of doing it according to repairing or fixing or balancing out your skin. When it comes to makeup, your skincare should be done in a way that helps the longevity of wear of your makeup. So here's what to do to kind of get that perfect moisture balance so you're not over hydrating or under hydrating. I take whatever moisturizer it is I'm going to use on someone's skin or on my own skin, and I kind of apply it in a way that's almost like a face mask. So not too thick. I don't want to see too much color, but I'll kind of put a bit on my hand and I'll just wipe it, wipe, so the whole face is covered, and I won't push that into the skin. I'll just leave it for about 3 minutes. I will then take a look at the skin, and I'll look for the areas that have drunk that moisturizer and the areas where the moisturizer hasn't yet sank in. So the areas where the moisturizer hasn't sank in yet, more than likely doesn't need any more moisture. The skin's almost like rejecting that moisture. So I'll just gently wipe that away. The areas that have completely absorbed and soaked up that moisturizer, I then apply another layer and really push that into the skin, because that's the area where your skin is almost like thirsty. It's drunk it up and it needs it. So that's where I apply more moisturizer. That way you get a really nice balance of moisture in the skin before your foundation. Of course, in terms of skincare, I'm not speaking as a skincare specialist in any way at all. You might need some advice on how to balance out the skin in the long run, but in terms of what you're doing before you wear your foundation, this is the best way to make it last longer and sit nicer on the skin. So those are my tips that I have for you guys today. I hope they come in handy for you at some point somewhere in your makeup careers or makeup lives or makeup. So yeah, if you liked that video, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're into this kind of thing. I'm saying, I don't know why today I feel like I'm new to this and this is my first video. I feel really camera shy. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, follow me on Instagram, all that other stuff. If you have any tips that have really saved your lives, makeup lives, or your makeup routine, leave them below. I like to share things and I like to learn from everyone else. No matter how long you've been doing makeup, you can still learn from other people. And I think that's what's great about YouTube sometimes, is you can learn a lot. So leave your tips below for everyone to share and everyone to love and steal. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.